All right, hi everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is Louise. I'm a tradesman empowerment coach. So a bit about me and my journey. I started my apprenticeship when I was 15 as a heavy vehicle mechanic, and I completed my apprenticeship when I was 19. In the time of doing my apprenticeship, I got a few awards. I competed in the regional world skills competition. After I completed my apprenticeship, I went to compete nationally, and I got a gold medal in heavy vehicle maintenance. And then I went on to compete internationally and got a medallion of excellence come fourth internationally. I was the first female to compete nationally and internationally, and I met so many amazing people along the way. So I'm currently now a tradesman empowerment coach. So I do life coaching for tradeswomen. And I'm going to keep admitting people. I also am a trainer and assessor. So I teach heavy vehicle and plant mechanics in the mines. So that's what keeps me busy these days. So that's just a bit about me and my journey. So today, the way things are going to run is I'm going to go through some content, so some teaching, as well as some interactive stuff. So with confidence, I believe that it is individual for everyone, and we all have our own paths to get there. And for me, for the longest time, professional development and stuff didn't really seem to fit with the way that I was thinking and the challenges that I was facing. And I couldn't quite get it to mold to me in my situation, being a woman in a male-dominated trade, being hands-on on the tools. It wasn't an office environment, which a lot of that professional development is targeted at. So I learned to adapt it to myself, and I love teaching that, the adaptations that I've made to other people. And I use a lot of mechanical analogies in professional development, which I really like. It's like my favorite pastime is to get a professional development concept and put it in a mechanical analogy. So after we go through all the teaching, I'm going to go through how you can work with me going forward. And after that, then we'll have some questions if you guys have got any. And also throughout the teaching, I want you guys to call out, and if you've got any, well, I'm going to ask you for your input, so then it is personalized to you. All right. Why fake it till you make it doesn't work. So I was told for so long, and I practiced for so long, fake it till you make it. So pretty much just being like, yep, I can totally do this. I belong here. Okay, I can do this. But you still are telling yourself, I actually can't do this. And you're just faking it. I'm going to fake this. I'm going to fake this confidence. I'm going to fake it through this event. And it works in the moment. I think that's why so many people get caught up in the trap of faking it till you make it, because it works. In the moment, you can get shit done. You can talk to that shitty person. You can get that really hard task done. But what it leads to is imposter syndrome, feeling like you don't belong. And I believe this is because you're still believing the thought, I can't do this, and I'm faking it. You're telling yourself over and over again, fake it till you make it. You're telling yourself you're faking it. Why would you believe in yourself if you're also in that same breath, you're telling yourself that I'm faking it? So it's kind of like a bit of a catch-22. Fake it till you make it, for me, in my personal opinion, good in the moment, not so good as a long-term solution. For me personally, I suffered from imposter syndrome so bad that I literally couldn't function. I was crying all the time. I would have an anxiety attack every time I went to do a task because I didn't believe I could do it, even though everyone's like, you did it last week. You literally did it yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't. And it was a bit of a pain in the ass. All right. So we love a good dictionary term. What is confidence? So according to Google Dictionary, confidence is the feeling that one can have faith in or rely on someone or something. So for this, we know as we grow up, we learn different words and they mean different things to us. So we all have our own meaning of what confidence is. And for me, confidence is being able to do something even when I'm anxious, even if I haven't done it before, that I still go and do it to the best of my ability. And in my mind, confidence is being able to do that task even though I haven't done it before, even when I haven't learned it. So we're getting a bit to the interactive stuff. So if you want to jump off mute and let me know, what does confidence mean to you? All right. What do we got, Kat?
Yeah, I'm not on the spot at all. I guess confidence for me is just being able to do stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so being able to do things.
Just jumping on that plane and going overseas, or enrolling in a TAFE course, or, going hiking just because, having that, confidence or that belief in yourself that you can do it.
I love that, being able to do things just because. Just because. Why not? Let's jump on a plane. Let's sign up for a course just because we can. Love it. I think it's really important. The reason why I really wanted to do it interactive this time is because we talk to ourselves in our own language. And even though we all speak to ourselves, if we're English speaking, we speak to ourselves in English. But so for me, I say I want to do something even when. But with you, Kat, you point, one thing that I caught on when you said is like, I want to do things just because. Just because. And that's how you talk to yourself. And I think it's really important to have it in that, like, this is what my brain does automatically. All right. Beth, do you got one? What does confidence mean to you?
To me, it means the ability to just believe that things will work out. Let's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Or things will work out, or you're fairly sure things will work out.
To believe that it will work out. No matter what happens, it's going to work out.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Anna, I know you're cooking. Do you have anything? What confidence means to you?
It's about trusting your abilities.
Trusting your ability?
Making a decision and then, following through.
You broke up a little bit there, but I got trusting your abilities. Oh, good. So we all think confidence is something slightly different to us. We've all got our own little terminology on how we talk to ourselves. Being able to do things just because, believing that it will work out, or you're fairly sure that it's going to work out, and trusting your abilities. So for me, I said confidence is when I can do something even when. And I think a lot of the time we think when we feel anxiety, that means we don't have any confidence. Anxiety is going to stop us from doing whatever. We want to be able to do something just because, but then anxiety is like, no. You want to believe that it's going to work out, but anxiety is like, fuck no, the whole world is going to burn to the ground if you do that thing. And then trusting your abilities, it's like, okay, yeah, my abilities, I can do this, but if it goes wrong, the world is going to explode. And that's what anxiety tries to tell us all the time. But one thing that we can do is, if we feel anxious and we're thinking the worst case scenario is going to happen, follow that worst case scenario all the way to the end. Okay, you try this task and you break a component. You're trying to put something together and you break a piece of it. And your brain's like, the world's going to end if this breaks. But realistically, what's going to happen? Okay, that bit's going to break. Then you're going to have to report it to your supervisor. And the supervisor's going to be like, oh, fuck, okay. Then they're going to order a new part. And then you're going to fit that part. the world isn't going to end. But we stop at that kind of, fuck, the world's going to end bit as soon as we feel anxious. So even just being able to like, yep, just because I'm going to do this, just because, and anxiety is just going to be there, and you're just going to be there. All right. So this one's another question for you guys. What thoughts, feelings, and actions are you having or taking now? So right now in the moment, what are you doing? So for me, I was kind of like, okay, if I was feeling anxious, and not confident, I would put off doing things. So I wouldn't do the task. I'd delay it. I'd procrastinate. I would have perfectionism, like kind of thoughts. It was like, I can't do it perfectly, then I'm just not going to do it. So what does that kind of stuff look like for you guys?
I guess I put a lot of pressure on myself to get stuff 100% right. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It just needs to get done.
Beth, what do you got?
I'm really good at procrastinating, and really good at doing small things that don't matter instead.
Do you have one, Anna? See. Oh. See, she's trying to get off mute, but she keeps setting her camera on and off. She's deep in her cooking. All right, that's okay, Anna.
Sorry about that. Just absolutely the other stuff, whatever everyone said, actually, especially in a small task that sort of distracts yourself from it. It's like, oh, I'm trying to do everything. Well, that's probably that really needs thinking right now.
I love that. Something shiny. And yes, I also do that too. So perfectionism, perfectionism is a sneaky one that happens because we're like, we just have really high standards. We're a really high achiever, you know, like having this high standard for myself is really, really good. And that's how it hides itself for us. We're just like, yeah, but this is a good thing. If I want to do it like 100%, it's a good thing. But the sneaky thing is that sometimes we just don't do it because we can't do it 100%. And our procrastinating, putting things off to the last minute. And sometimes procrastination can hide as, oh yeah, I work better with a deadline. When I'm like really close in the tension of things, like I really produce work when the deadline is right there. And then we like leave it to the last minute and we're like, yep, that deadline is going to motivate us. And then we end up staying up till like midnight or like not sleeping and then getting whatever we want done or like rushing it in the last minute. And doing things that don't matter instead. So kind of like doing busy work. Like, okay, yep, I'm busy. I'm moving towards my goal. Like I'm busy. I'm doing this thing. I'm doing things. Am I getting any closer to the thing that I want to do? No. I'm doing all these other things. And yeah, something shiny. Yep, distraction. Oh, yep, I've got 100 projects going on at once. I love doing everything. I just can't miss out on doing anything. I love that. That is definitely me to a T. I have been talking to my business coach a lot about wanting to do everything and having like intense FOMO about missing out. And then in turn, I try to do everything and then nothing gets done. Yes. All right. So we said fake it till you make it doesn't work. So how are we going to become confident then if we're not going to fake it? So pretty much we want to think about the person the version of ourselves that is confident. So what thoughts, feelings, and actions would the confident version of yourself have? If you could imagine that confident version of yourself, think, you know, after you achieve that goal, I'm going to be like this. I'm going to think these things. Confident people think these things. What are those things that the confident version of yourself thinks?
I guess I'd probably like to stop second guessing myself as much. I know when I'm having good days, I'm straight out there doing stuff, but when I'm having bad days, you know, I just get stuck in that mind whirlpool of indecision and self-doubt.
Yeah, so no second guessing. Beth, do you got any?
Yeah, I guess it would be like the ability to just evaluate a situation and just pick a direction and go for it. Yeah.
So like, don't second guess the decisions that you've made.
Sort of, yeah. Pick what you think will work and go. Yeah.
Like trust yourself.
Yeah.
Anna?
I agree with everything said. That's exactly what goes through my head.
Yeah. So yeah, no second, like you don't want to second guess and you want to make a decision and go for it. So like sometimes you can have like almost FOMO about a decision being like, okay, I made this decision, but what about all these other decisions that I could have possibly made? Let's think about all of them instead of actually doing the thing. All right, and one sneaky thing about the way that our brain works. So we've got our like conscious and our unconscious mind, so our thoughts and habits that are happening without us really paying attention. So kind of like when you drive somewhere and you get there and you're like, oh, how did I even do that? It's like put into your unconscious mind. It's just happening. And the sneaky thing about our unconscious mind is it doesn't pick up like no's and or I don't want to. It doesn't like pick up the don't. So when your unconscious mind, when you say like no second guessing, I don't want to second guess myself, your unconscious mind hears second guessing. It's really sneaky. So when we're like setting goals for ourselves and like thinking, if we're thinking, I don't want to binge eat, I don't want to scroll on my phone, your brain hears scroll on your phone, eat. So with that, just we'll rephrase this one, Kat. So what does no second guessing look like in like a positive term?
I guess trust your choices.
Like self-trust?
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much, yeah, make your decision and stick for it so you've got your self-trust. So pretty much we want to trust ourselves. All right. If you said these thoughts like, I trust myself to you, if you said it to yourself right now, do you believe that?
No.
No. That's like, nah. Oh, good. Sometimes we have, so pretty much, I'll go a little bit more into how the brain works. So pretty much in our brain, it's just like an electrical circuit. We've got all these pathways that we're constantly building. So when we're trying to learn a new habit, it's kind of like building a new pathway. And a way to describe it is we have like super highways and we have like little dirt tracks kind of in our brain. So it's really easy for us to go down the super highway. It's well formed, everything's there. Like our thoughts are just going to go down there. So they're our paths that are so well worn. So if we've been doubting and second guessing ourselves for a really long time, that feels super comfortable for our brain. It's really easy. That pathway is just like there. Yep. Okay. A situation. Yep. Self-doubt. Here we go. Straight there. Like this is the easiest route. We're going to doubt ourselves all the time. So when we're trying to practice something new, like trusting yourself, being like, I trust myself. I've got this. Your brain's like, there's too many trees on this pathway. Fuck no, we're going to doubt ourselves again. It's way too hard. So with this, trusting yourself, when we try and just think of it straight up, our brain is like, no, just no. But there is a way that we can get there. My lovely little diagram. I don't know how well you can see it. So this isn't a concept that I've made up, but it's called a thought ladder. One of the coaches that I work with, Cara Lowenthal, she has a podcast called Unfuck Your Brain. I would definitely recommend. It is bloody amazing. And she has a concept called the thought ladder. And it's pretty much like, so in my diagram, what I come up with was the original thought is I am shit. And the thought that we want to get to is I am bloody amazing. And like we tried right now, like just before with the I doubt myself and then wanting to have self-trust, the thought just seems too far away. It's like trying to walk on a dirt track that is like 3 states over from our superhighway in our brain. It's just like, this is physically not possible. So the easiest way to get somewhere is to build little steps to it. So you guys, I want to think like when you are doubting yourselves or second guessing yourself, what is the actual sentence that you tell yourself? Is there a particular phase that when you're like freaking out is just like, it can either, like for me, one of them was I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. Just over and over again. That was my bottom thought. You guys have one that's specific to you?
Yeah, my go-to is I can't do this.
I can't do this. Beth, do you got one?
I tend to lean towards I should be able to do this. Or I should know this or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Kat, do you got one?
I think my brain automatically goes to that everyone's judging me for being shit kind of area.
Yeah.
That's the big one, yeah. Even though I know it's not true, like that's the big one.
All right, Anna, I know you're cooking, but Beth and Kat, do you have a piece of paper and a pen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Probably should have thought about this. Yes. Maybe. Yes.
Does it work?
Yeah. Okay, the next question.
All right. So what I want you guys to do is at the bottom of the page, write your thought. Your, like, I should be able to do this. I should know how. Or Kat, your one, everyone is judging me for being shit. Write that at the bottom. Awesome. So if we've got that down there, I want you guys to think of like, so your most confident self, what would be like the statement instead of everyone is judging me for being shit? What would you think? Like in an ideal world, we'd wave a magic wand and be like, this is what I want to think all the time. So say for my example, so my one was, I'm not enough, was my original thought. And the thought that I was going for that I really wanted was, I'm enough. That was like the highest thought that I could think of at the time. Do you got one, Kat?
Yeah, you might have to beep it out, but pretty much it comes down to fuck what everyone else thinks.
Yeah.
I'm old and cynical now, and if I did what everyone thought I should do, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah. Right, Beth, what was your one? Did you end up coming up with one?
I suppose it would be, I'm awesome at this. I'm great at this.
All right.
Or something like that.
Right. And Anna, do you got one?
Yeah, this is cool. I can do this.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so these ones that you've come up with, I want you guys to put them at the top of your piece of paper. So yeah, Kat, you had fuck what everyone else thinks. And then Beth, you had I'm awesome at this. And Anna had this is cool, I can do this. So the idea now, the ladder, is we want to make steps to get there. One thing that I got with positive thinking, like really positive thinking, it has a word, like toxic positivity is actually like a thing where people are just like be positive, say the positive things. But for me and a lot of people, like you kind of, if you go to think like I'm fucking amazing, fuck what everyone else thinks, your inner voice is just like, yeah, right, in the dreamland, we will think that. So it just seems like too far away for our brain to even just gather that at all. So what we want to do is we want to make a ladder. So for me personally, with my I'm not enough, the first thought that I tried to start believing was, I'm okay. I'm below average. Yeah, I'm all right. That was like my first one. I'm okay. And then I went to like my second thought was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm pretty average. And that was like, so then I had my 2 steps, I'm average. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm above average. I'm all right. And then I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm pretty great. And then I went to, yeah, I am bloody enough. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And from each step, it didn't really seem like too far. Like my brain was kind of like, yeah, you're below average. Yeah, we can go from shit to below average. Yeah, that adds up. And then from below average, yeah, I can be average. Yeah, average. Yeah, that adds up. And then you practice it along the way, and then you can move up your ladder. So for you guys, if you want to start filling out your ladders now, we can go through it if you've got any ideas of what you want to think. And it's kind of like, even if you just do that first one after your thought right now. So if you've got, I can't do this, something like, I can do this sometimes. Sometimes I can do this. I should be able to do this. I should know how. I know how to do some things. Everyone is judging me for being shit. Everyone is judging everyone. Might be something believable. Everyone's judging everyone. I judge people too. Yeah. Cara, the lady that come up with this, she's a bigger woman, and she talks a lot about it in the context of dating. And she was having the thought, fat women don't find love. And her first step thought was, some fat women find love. So you can have it in that context of like other people. Yeah, you know, everyone is judging me. But, you know, maybe someone's not judging me. Maybe there's one person that's not judging me, and your brain can be like, yeah, you know, we can't really believe that the whole population isn't judging me. But yeah, I reckon, yeah, one person probably isn't judging me. And that makes sense. And you can go, even if you want to do that in terms of numbers, then you go, oh, 2 people probably aren't judging me. And 3. So just having that ladder to get there. All right, so then you can fill it out as you go through. And even sometimes we can go through the ladder. And also, this doesn't happen overnight, unfortunately. So another big step in all of this is we can write down our ladder and we can tell ourselves things, but we need to build that pathway in our brain over and over again. So some things you can do to start practicing the thoughts that are going to get us becoming more confident is writing them on the bathroom mirror in whiteboard marker, having them as your screensaver on your phone, having an alarm that goes off. So maybe in the morning, your morning alarm has your thought that you're practicing, like pop up as you wake up. You can write it, you know, writing lines. Yeah, different things like that. Just getting you reminding yourself of it over and over again. And remembering that if you do go back into the old pattern, that's okay. Nothing has gone wrong. Like, that doesn't mean that it's all a waste of time. Like, I know sometimes if I was, you know, having a few good days and then I'd have a shit day, or I'd start practicing something new and I'd have a good half a day and then the afternoon would be shit. I'd be like, oh, it's a waste of time. It's not working. And I'm like, wait a second, I had half a good day. You know, maybe tomorrow I could have a full good day, and building on it like that. But making sure you're not beating yourself up if you do fall back in. 1% at a time. So when we put in changes, so a lot of the time, like that ladder, we tend to not build it. We kind of like, yep, this is exactly what I want to be. And then we're like, okay, level 100, we're going 1 to 100. Like, that's it. We want to never think that negative thought again. And if we think it again, then no, it's over. But we don't acknowledge the power of changing 1% at a time, or working on things in very minimal, like kind of minimal steps. We take away the power of 5 minutes. But realistically, if you change 1% every day for a whole year, then you would have had 365% worth of change, which is a fair bit. And so something that for me, for the concept of it, was doing something for 5 minutes a day. So I have this goal, like I love stretching and fitness and dancing, and I've always wanted to be super flexible. And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally going to stretch for an hour each day, flat splits. I'll put my foot on my head, an hour a day. And then I might get like 20 minutes into one and I'm like, no, this is too hard. But we don't, the power of doing something for 5 minutes a day. So say if you did something for 5 minutes a day, you did it 7 days a week for 5 minutes, that's half an hour. And then if you do half an hour times 52 weeks of the year, it's 25 hours over the whole year that you've practiced something new. That's 25 more hours than you did last year. And even if you're changing 1% of the time every day, so like maybe every morning you think your next thought, and you might not do it again throughout the day, you might lose track of it. But every morning you try and think that new thought, you would have thought it 365 times more than if you hadn't even tried to. And that pathway is getting built in your brain. And one day you'll be like, oh, it's happening. When I don't. Oh, shit. But we need to do those steps 1% at a time. So then we don't have a massive freak out meltdown because we can't do it 100% perfectly. Because perfectionism just manages to slip its way into everything. Oh, good. So just a bit of an overview of what we've gone over. So confidence means something different to all of us. We all have different thoughts of what our most confident version of ourselves can be. And faking it till you make it is a good short-term fix, but it's in the name. We're telling ourselves we're faking it. It doesn't work out for the long term. Tried and tested, doesn't work out for the long term. All right. We can have these really good ideals of what the most confident person of ourselves would be. But the big practice is trying to bring that futuristic confident self into the here and now, trying to make it happen for us right now. And one of the ways that we can get it to happen right now in the here and now is to build a ladder towards it, to start that journey towards that most confident self that we want, that most confident thought that we want to be having. We want to build that ladder and we want to start taking steps towards it. Once we start taking steps, it's going to get closer. If we don't start taking any steps, it's not going to get any closer. And no matter how small those steps are, you're getting closer to it. All right. So that is all the content that I had for you, lovely ladies. Thank you so much for listening and for interacting. And, you know, some of you put you on the spot, getting used to join in, but I really wanted it to be about you guys and your personal journey for your confidence. Yeah, so I'm going to go through how you can work with me. And then if you've got any questions after that about any of the content or anything else, feel free to ask. After this. So like I said at the beginning, I'm a tradeswoman empowerment coach. So I do one-on-one life coaching with tradeswomen. And the way that I work with people is I've got a 4-month package where we work together one-on-one for an hour each fortnight. And in between that, you can contact me and get support in other ways as well. The investment for that package, if you do want to do that, is 1497 Australian, and you can pay that in installments, in 3 installments over 3 months. And if you think you are interested in doing that, I'm just going to put the link in the chat. So I move my mouse. So I do a clarity call for that. And if you would like to do that, I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. And if anyone is watching the recording, it will be in the description box. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening in. And you guys have any questions? So, thanks, Anna, for listening in while you're cooking.
Oh, thank you. This has been really good.
That's all good. Oh yeah, and if you guys aren't already, I have a Facebook group called Tradeswomen Owning Their Power, and I put in little videos, like little snippets of stuff like this in there. So if you guys want to, you can search it up as well, and I'll send you guys a link to it via email as well if you guys would like to join. Awesome.
Cool.
Cool. All good. Kat, you all good?
Yeah, thanks for that, Louise.
That's all right. All good. Beth, you all good?
All good, all good. Thank you. That's been good.